Welcome to Inside the Coaches Room. I'm Petey. I know we just talked about the Utah Mammoth earlier in the week. Well, we're doing it again. We're talking about the Utah Mammoth losing for the first time, losing 2 games in a row as they head out on a northeastern road trip that starts off in Buffalo. It's an important road trip for the Utah Mammoth. This is an opportunity. They're still just a couple of points out of the lead in the Central. They're right there. They're just behind Winnipeg and Colorado. It's an important trip. They've got some tough teams on this trip. They start off in Buffalo with former Utah Mammoth Josh Stone and Michael Kesselring, another team that's trying to find their way. And then they head off to play some really good hockey teams. They're playing Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. And unfortunately, they play Toronto at the end of a back-to-back, and then they got a back-to-back in the Ottawa-Montreal games as well. So it's a tough test to see how they perform. I think this is going to be one of those litmus tests to see how they compete against some of the best teams in the league as they hit that upper Northeast Canadian trip. But what I thought we'd talk about today is we are going to actually talk to a player. And one of my favorite guys on the Utah Mammoth is Michael Carcone. He's a guy that works hard. You know what you get when he jumps over the boards. He's going to play 200 feet. He's going to play both sides of the puck. And I got an opportunity to sit down with him. He's in Buffalo already. And without further ado, let's turn it over. Here's Michael Carcone. Welcome back to Inside the Coaches Room. I'm Petey, a very special guest today, coming all the way from Buffalo, New York. Utah Mammoth forward Michael Carcone joins the show. Carks, thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, no problem. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Been a
Yeah, no
while.
kidding.
And I still, every time you get a goal, I get to send you the "You've been Carconed" tweet. Do you know have you ever seen that meme, the "You've been Carconed" meme?
I have, yeah,
Yeah.
like when it's just like for you comes up on your X or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually just like media and stuff, so I see it. Um,
Well, I do want to. We're going to talk a little bit more about your hockey, but first of all, you played yesterday at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and now you're in Buffalo, New York. How do you get to Buffalo, New York so quickly? What was the travel plan yesterday?
yeah, we played and then immediately after the game, we basically just head to the airport and park the cars, get on the plane and get going. So we got in around 11:30 last night and gives us a good chance to get some proper sleep and have a day off today.
Yeah, do you feel good today? Like, and honestly, those travel days can be tough, especially I always felt going from the Western time zone or Mountain time zone to East, you want to stay up late, and mornings were really hard. And I know with Rick Tocchet, he tried to go earlier. Do you feel like you're dragging today, or is this good to get out there early and get this out of your system today instead of tomorrow?
I think when you lay around in your room all day, I think that's kind of what makes you sluggish. It's just trying to get up, do maybe use the hotel gym, do a workout, go for dinner, get some fresh air. Gives you a chance to do that. But yeah, you definitely get to sleep a little bit later, and the good thing is you get to sleep in too. So
And enjoy
you know,
some of that beautiful Buffalo weather that you're
yeah.
getting today. Hey, speaking of that, though, in Buffalo, you got a couple of friends there. So Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring, former Utah Mammoth players, now out in Buffalo. Did you get a chance to catch up with them? Is there dinner plans tonight?
Yeah, I might stand them up tonight. We're supposed to have dinner, but might be the old night at 9 trick here. So
Yeah, dust them a little bit. Yeah, that's
yeah.
awful.
No.
Let's talk about your start, the start of this Utah Mammoth team, especially at home. What's the atmosphere right now in the Delta Center been like to start this season?
Yeah, it's been great. We're obviously aware that there's so much noise surrounding this team and the potential and what it could be. But I think we're doing a good job just kind of blocking that out and focusing on, what's happening inside the room. And I think that's a major part of our success is just being able to go in and just play. We obviously know, how talented of a roster we have and we know we're young and we play fast. So just focusing on us is definitely been huge.
Yeah, and at home a year ago in Delta Center, just above 500, 18, 15, and one or two. Um, you started off the season 4-1 at home. Your first loss at home yesterday against Tampa, and that went down to the wire. It was a heck of a hockey game. What's different at home this year? Is there anything different, or was it just tough getting into the transition from playing in Arizona to Utah at the start of last year, and now everybody's acclimated to it? What's so special about playing there at Delta Center?
Yeah, I think everything just happened so fast coming from Arizona. I just think that, like you're saying, this year everyone's just acclimated to to Utah, and we know what to expect, and obviously just want to support our fans and put on a good performance. So playing there is crazy, especially when they get the towels going, and
Yeah.
there's 15,000 people just buzzing, and Tuna gets a fight, and the crowd's going even more insane, building shaking. So it's definitely a really cool experience playing there.
Yeah, and that fan base is definitely behind this team, and it's good to see them support a team that's winning. And I know it's maybe a little early, but it's in a playoff spot right now. But let's go to the practice ring too, because it's something that's really important. And they talked about it a year ago. Ryan Smith talked about the practice facility. I know you practiced at the Oval last year, but now you have your own brand new practice facility. How have those facilities been this year? Do you got everything you need? Is it top tier? Is this some of the best facilities in the league?
Yeah, I think I always joke around saying you need a golf cart to get from A to B, and
don't
it's
don't say golf carts, Carks. Don't. You can't say
well,
golf carts. The outside, inside or outside. It's that big that you need them
inside,
inside.
inside,
You don't
inside.
need it outside like maybe at a previous organization.
Like if you, yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, if you forget like something from like your gitch bag,
Yep.
and you're in your dress room and you got to go to the like the change locker room area,
Yeah.
like good luck. You need 5 minutes to get there and back. So no, it's everything you need as a player in any sport, to be honest. It's massive. There's so much in there. Um, and like I don't even think people have seen our recovery room that's like got a $150,000 red light, you know, machine in there that you just lay in like a tanning bed. And it's unbelievable. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, but
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And it makes a difference, right? And
Yeah.
again, I think to have an ownership group that understands and is giving you guys what you need, there's no excuses, and it makes it you can focus on playing. I want to ask you about Tusky because I know this he gets unveiled and then go on a big winning streak. How much of the winning streak is actually attributed to Tusky inside the locker room? Little,
Has
very little.
everything to do with Tusky.
Yeah, that's right.
My kids love him. Everyone loves
I
him.
was
It's
going to
great.
ask if Eli loved Tusky. Is
Oh yeah.
Tusky Eli approved?
Eli and Lennon are proof
Uh,
1000%.
That is
So
fantastic. It's a great mascot. I love the
yeah, he is.
mascot.
Yeah.
This season, you've found an identity right now. You play with a line with McBain and Cross. You've been with them for a while now, and there is an identity with that line. What has it been like to play with those guys consistently and get to play with the same guys every night?
Yeah, I think it's been great. Obviously, those two guys are big bodies. They get in on the forecheck, so I know how they played. I've watched them over the last few years and playing with them, obviously. So I just know that I have a role to play, and I'm just one piece of the puzzle. So just trying to get the pucks to the net and stuff. It actually helps my game. Just knowing they're going to be there. They're going to hit a guy and create space for me. So trying to read off them, and it's super easy the way they play to do that.
Yeah, and I think with that line specifically, it's a line that Coach Chernier can put out anytime. I mean, responsible defensively. You can get your offensive zone starts because you can provide offense, but you can also play in the defensive zone, which makes it easier for him to throw you over the boards. But one stat, Karks, had to throw at you because you might not know. Maybe you do. Maybe you sit and look at the stats, the advanced stats every day. Do you know right now you are tied for the league lead, the team lead, Utah Mammoth lead for shot attempts per game 5-on-5? You and Dylan Gunther both have 4 shot attempts per game, and you actually have more shots on goal per game than Dylan Gunther, 5-on-5.
It's a good
Take power
category
play
to
out of
be
it.
in.
It
Anyways,
is.
whatever it's in shooting pucks with Dylan Gunther, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll
you take
take
the
that. Yeah.
5-on-5 play. You're right there. And is that an important part of your game, delivering the puck to the front of the net more, especially when you've got those big guys?
Yeah, obviously, Boehner and Krause are going to, be looking to go to the net and using their bodies and creating space. So obviously, if I just put it there and I can get it off a pad and they get a rebound or hits them and they create chaos at the net, it's just those little things that, we know what to expect from each other. And I think that's given us some success.
You talk about this locker room identity and what the chemistry is like inside the room, and you added another veteran defenseman in Nate Schmidt this year. So you got Ole Mott and Nate Schmidt, Ian Cole, Sergachev. You got a bunch of guys that won Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Is their leadership and guidance make a difference inside the room?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a lot to do with the day to day and the way they approach games and they do it by the way they play. Schmitty is probably the funniest person in the league. So
Really? Not
Yeah,
Nick
like he,
Schmaltz? I thought it was Schmaltz. No.
yeah, Schmaltz is pretty funny too, right? But then they go on the ice and it's all business, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they keep it light when they're doing that too. So it's kind of you just follow the lead and no, it's been super easy and they fit in. Him and Tanev fit in so well with their personalities and their play.
Yeah, and I think that makes a difference. You look at your locker room and people talk about how young this team is in Utah, but the reality is you do have a lot of that veteran presence in that room. It is a really good mix. And I brought up Schmaltz kind of kiddingly, but he's off to an unbelievable start. Even when he wasn't scoring in the first 3 or 4 games, he was getting those opportunities. And I joke because he never smiles. Like you see him on TV, he's putting on this amazing streak right now, one of the
Yeah.
top point scorers in the league, and you still don't see the guy smile. What has his been start been like inside the room for you guys?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we see it on a day to day with Schmaltzy and like the player he is, but obviously, we haven't seen this before, but you could see that the potential was there to do it. And um, I mean, like the hardest position to play for me is the middle guy on a power play. If you are on a power play, like it's so important because you have to be everywhere. And like he does it so effortlessly and wins battles all over the ice and in the middle of the ice and so good at like pickpocketing guys. And he does all those little things that, sets up the success on the power play. And, I'm just super happy for him.
Yeah, and I look at him; he's having a really good year, and for him, it's a contract year, and
Yeah.
for you, it's a contract year. And I know it's just the beginning of November, but when do you start thinking about that, or do you always think about it, or do you never think about it?
I mean, obviously you think about it, right? There's so much stress that goes into it, but especially this early, you just try not to even keep it in your mind. And if it's in there, you just try to get it out as quick as possible because does nothing for you to be honest, and it's not worth worrying about at this time.
Yeah, the Utah Mammoth just signed Logan Cooley to that big contract now, so hopefully he's buying dinner for the group. I know it doesn't kick in quite yet, but hopefully he's buying dinner tonight in Buffalo. But next, after Buffalo, you've got just first of all the schedule makers. Come on, Buffalo, Toronto back to back, so you don't get the day in Toronto to go around. But I did talk to your travel guys; they did say a couple days in Toronto. You've got
Yep.
family, I assume, still in the Toronto area. That's where you're from just outside Toronto and Ajax. And do you get an opportunity to see some family in the next couple of days?
Uh, to be honest, I don't think I've even communicated with my parents that I'll be there for 3 days. So that's a good reminder. Thank you for that. Gonna try to see some friends and obviously I got to take my parents for dinner now, I guess. Hey, so
Yeah,
no
way to
pressure.
go. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they're tuned in to this show right now. They're watching. So yeah, I'm sure they're sitting at
Yeah.
home. No, but does it different? It's hard because Toronto's different. Like Toronto is the center of the hockey universe, and you've had the chance to play there against the Leafs before. Is it different for you going back to Toronto and playing in against the Leafs?
Yeah, I think it's just like, to be honest, it's one of the coolest things in the world to,
Yeah.
you know, say, hey, I got to go home and play the Leafs, and all your friends come, your family comes. Like after the game, you probably have 60 people there, and
Jeez.
there's so much that goes into it. It is a lot of fun. It's stressful, but you just try to enjoy the moment as much as you can because you don't know when the last game in Toronto is going to be or in the NHL in
Yeah.
general.
It's funny, Carks, because it is different. And I know I was always in the background, but when the team would go to Toronto, there are people that have so many family members and friends around. It's just a different atmosphere, and everybody brings their best when they play the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this former organization had really good success with games in Toronto, and it's bled over into the Utah Mammoth team. Is this road trip pretty important for where you are in the standings right now? You've got the Eastern Canada swing and Buffalo. Are these games really important at this time of year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got off to a good start here and we want to keep building our game as best we can because as the season goes on, these games get harder and harder to win. So obviously if we can get ourselves in a really good position and keep our good start going, then it's obviously going to put us in a better position down the line. So yeah, we obviously we know we lost two in a row and we want to get back to where we were and continue to win games.
I got to ask about your goalie. Just big. I don't know Veggie very well. I've said hi to him a few times. He started off this season just red hot, and he's been a big part of the reason why this team is success is where it is this early in the season. How has he been? One, embraced by the community of Utah, and how has he been for you guys, and how much you believe in him in the room?
Yeah, this guy's a superstar. You know what I mean? Like you got people wearing like broccoli and veggie hats and stuff. It's the craziest thing. I don't even know where they got this, but I saw it once and then it just kind of took off. I don't know who's making money off it, who's selling it, but what an
Brilliant,
idea.
brilliant.
But no, he's been huge for us. You know, you saw it last probably on the power play. He stopped like four in a row on some of the best players in the world. Like it's just some of the stuff he's doing is pretty crazy. But he's definitely keeping us in games and you know, it definitely gives you a confidence too when you have a guy like that back there
Well,
that you can rely on. So
you look at your standings, Carks. It's been a really good start, and I'll admit, like I came out and said at the beginning of the season, this team is going to be better. They're going to improve. There's still a lot of good teams in the Western Conference, and it's going to be hard to make the playoffs. When
right.
you get up and work day to day with this team on the ice in practice and in games, what's the belief system like for this team and the possibility of making the playoffs?
Yeah, we all have the same goal. You can really see it on this team more than, you know, previous years. And I'm not saying previous years like there was, you know, we didn't believe it all. It's just this year, it's like everyone comes in, we know what we have to do. And you can just feel it. It's not even like somebody's saying it. You just feel that this team has the belief that it's playoffs or die, right? So it's kind of a nice feeling going into the rink. And when you have that, you know, that light attitude kind of, you know, everyone's smiling, everyone's doing their thing, but like at the same time it's just like work. So no, it's definitely a pretty fun group to be a part of right now.
I look back to the coaching staff when they were in Arizona, and I always said that to you guys when I saw you at the practice rink that everybody looked like they were having fun and they were happy to be at the rink and just going to practices. And that was a team that was struggling and lower in the standings, but it was still fun going to the rink. Now that you're winning, I wonder how is that translated for the way Andre Tournier is approaching you guys? Is it still just this? I don't want to say light because that's not fair. A fun atmosphere, or has he changed the way he's approached you guys now that the expectations are higher?
Yeah, I think you know, he stayed true to himself so far this year. I think you know, he obviously when he sees something happening, you know, he addresses it, but it's for the most part he's still that guy that wants to keep it light. And I think it actually just stems from him. It's just like, you know, you're a person at the end of the day. We can have those conversations, we can be friends, whatever. When we get to the rink, it's, you know, I need you to work. And um so just going back to kind of what I was saying, like it's just that it's a really good group, I think, from the coaches down for, you know, when it needs to be light, it's light, and then when we need to work, we work. So no, it's been great so far.
I want to talk about one more thing here, and I'll let you get going because I know it's been a long day already, a travel day, and you've had stuff going on. With a couple of years ago, I talked to you, and you had a dinner club that you'd eat with on the road. JJ Mosier, Matthias Michelli, and you were part of that group at times. Michelli's gone; he's in Toronto. JJ Mosier's gone; he's in Tampa. Do you still have this tight group that you go out to dinner? And one thing about that group that was fun is that you did meal reviews and reviews of all these restaurants. Has that trend continued now that you're in Utah?
You know what, Petey? I am not a restaurant guy anymore. I'm building a house, man. I'm saving my
Dude,
money. I am not
you and
paying.
Tony
No,
Silva saving your money.
I am saving my money. I can't afford to go to these nice dinners. I'd rather stay at home and eat Chick-fil-A or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
So.
the game has changed. I will say that because when you travel last night and it's a late night, what are you doing on the plane? Are you a card guy? Are you a movie guy? Are you a sleep guy?
So if I could choose, I'd be a card guy. I played for one trip, and
Oh,
Kells and Obi and Tanev and Schmaltzy took my money.
no.
So I'm back to watching movies now. I'm done. Give me a nap, give me a movie. I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's tough, especially like you said when you're trying to build a house. Hey, Karks,
Yeah.
thanks. I want to say thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I know how hard it is, especially when you're on the road to find a few minutes. Thanks for doing this, and I'm wishing you the best of luck tomorrow against Buffalo, the rest of the road trip, and again the rest of the season because I think you're playing for a really good hockey club right now. Go enjoy your wings, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, man. It's nice to see you.
Huge thank you to the Utah Mammoth PR staff and Michael Carcone for taking time out of their busy day to visit and talk a little bit about the Utah Mammoth and their Eastern road trip. That will be about it for today from Inside the Coach Room. A little quick one, just touching base on the Utah Mammoth and their Eastern trip. Thanks for joining me today. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. And as always, I'm Petey, and we'll see you at the rink.